What is going on, all of you beautiful people? I think I'm gonna make this another video. So welcome back to another day. We got some more updates and progress on the Civic. Went and took it on its first actual drive this morning, and it did good, but it's running really rich still. And still kind of missing and hiccuping a little bit. So I'm hoping a new O2 sensor will fix that, because as you guys saw, well, I don't know if I filmed it actually, but the O2 sensor was disgusting and not working. So we got that to do. I need to get the interior cleaned up. I found a power steering leak that needs to be fixed, and I want to start. The premise of this video is diving into the speaker wiring. Now, today's Sunday, and on Sundays I like to do TikTok lives while I'm out here running. Be sure to start tuning into those. If you're not following me on TikTok, do it. But yeah, so I don't know how much filming I'm gonna do. This might end up just being all one video, like adding this to the end of my last video. Or maybe this will go on to my next, I don't know. Regardless, we need to do something about all this right here. So it's obviously we got our front speaker wires, and then this is, see, look, that just popped right out. That's questionable. And then the ground, at least I assume that's ground. Yep, that is doing very well. So yeah, what I want to do is attempt to yank all of that out and just go back to the factory speaker wires that are in the doors and remove all of that junk. And if I can't, then we will figure something out. So just off quick look, we definitely got our work cut out for us. Let's see, they have power and accessory going to this red wire, which is right here, that was going to the battery. And the ground is switched right here to that right there. So then goes to the switch, comes up to here, which is interesting. So I'm gonna look into this factory harness right here, and that is literally completely disconnected. So at least they left that for me. Makes me wonder if there is an issue in it somewhere. So I need to look up the wiring harness and figure out what goes where and get everything all connected. Oh, it doesn't even have the other plug for the speaker. All right, so it's looking like I'm just gonna have to run to the parts store and grab one of these universal adapter kit things and see if I can't find one with this plug right here. All right, so unfortunately, we can't get the speaker going, or the sound system going today until I get a new head unit, because it is missing that one plug. But we can at least get all this jank shit out of here. And it looks like they thankfully left the factory wiring alone, so we can undo this fiasco. And I'll probably just replace these speakers in general, because they do not look to be in the best condition. So just redo all of it, which will come in time. It won't be this video, but we will do it soon. So for the time being, we're just going to yank all this out of here. And then I want to get the car all cleaned up. She's filthy. Boop. And we have new wheels for this coming today. So that's exciting. So these Fat Fives are going away. Getting us some new, which I am hyped for. I mean, I put no effort into this, into tucking the wires or anything. Yikes. Come on back here. Ah! Nice bit of tugging. Going fishing. All right, there's one out, one to go. Let's see if we can just pull it out. Looks like we got one little screw. All right, I'll just tune in with y'all when we get all this out of here. Here's a must see. I mean, ugh. Okay. So if you look, I've already cleaned this thing once, and it was a lot worse. There was carbon buildup all around. Half these holes were blocked. It looks like it actually blew it out some. Actually driving it might have helped some, but regardless, it's definitely time to swap this guy out. So I might have had a little bit of a ricer moment. And I thought my idle adjustment screw was like seized or broken because I kept trying to turn to the right to open up the throttle body. But it turns out it's opposite. I have to turn it counterclockwise to open up the throttle body. So I am going to disconnect the throttle cable and play with that screw and see if we can't get this thing actually idling properly. And then we will swap out the throttle cable itself because the threads are stripped right there. Thankfully, I have a spare one over on the ground right there that I was going to do the other day. And then I got lazy. So let's see. Hopefully we can get this thing idling good now that I've realized that I just had a moment. So nice. I also really need to invest in a tripod so I can actually like prop my phone up. Maybe when we get this thing dialed in, we'll go to Best Buy and get the idle adjustment thing, or I'm sorry, get the head unit, and then get the and get a little tripod. I also want to get a little mic too, but I can't go spending that much money. I shouldn't spend any more money, but I probably will. Okay, let's get it. Alright, so after a little bit more digging and making no real progress, I'm starting to look at the map sensor. Because if y'all remember, the wiring was really janky on that. So I came down to this side, and they use these little like screw-in plug things. But this side was not in all the way, so I don't think there was any connection here. So I'm going to actually solder and hardwire this together for the time being. And see if that will help at all. All right, so before I go back to actually blasting Teddy Swims, just want to give you guys a little bit of an update. The IAC valve wiring was done really sketchily. Like you see that, that's all that was making contact in these little connector things. And I noticed when I unplugged the IAC valve versus having it plugged in, it made literally no difference whatsoever. So we're going to, so right now I'm actually soldering and heat shrinking that, and hopefully that'll help with the idle. Regardless, it's at least something that needs to be done. So I'm just hoping that it at least makes a difference and helps with the no idle issue. So all right, a little update. I've been bleeding the brakes, and I've not been having very good luck because the rear drums, they have stripped one side and broke the other of the bleeder valves, and I think that's where the issue is. So that's a no good. But we got new wheels. So now we get to get these bad boys thrown on rest of the way, drop it down. Hopefully they clear in the rear. I'm a little questionable on that one. All right, we got this side on. Got to drop it down. Let's see how bad it is. Okay. We're definitely gonna have to drop the other side down to get a better view, but definitely looks better than the Fat Fives at least. Whew, moment of truth. I don't know why that's sitting so high. This may be just where the car is right now on the thing. Maybe that side just needs to be lowered some. Definitely a little bit of poke. Oh, we are gonna have to roll that, that's for sure. Let me see how bad the other side is. Okay. Yeah, it's just the way the car's sitting right now on this hill. It's sitting a little uneven. From this side, look pretty good. All right, so as I was backing out, there was definitely still rubbing in the rear. So I am really gonna have to roll these fenders because I'm pretty much touching. But other than that, I like them. Hell, I like them a lot better than the Fat Fives, that's for sure. Very, very happy. May not sound like it because I'm kind of tired, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to roll fenders and drop the front a little bit. And then it definitely looks like the coilovers aren't evenly set from the previous owner. So we'll have to do something about that. So do something about that, roll the fenders, and drop her down some. So the primary objective of this video is working on the Civic. But we need to fix the Evo first. Again. I also just noticed my hair from work today. Sorry. But I want my car back as soon as possible. Don't judge. So before we start playing with the Honda, we need to fix a brake line. This guy had failed on me right there, right at the banjo fitting. Right here, where my fingernail is. So we need to get that swapped out. It was really sketchy because I was driving my grandma home from the hospital when that line failed. So it was fun getting her home with no brakes. But we did it. I'm probably not going to film too much of this because it's literally just replacing one little line and bleeding brakes, which I assume everyone here knows how to do. So I'm just going to get after it, and we'll probably just tune in with you guys once it's done and we can start playing with the Civic. All right. So the new brake line is on. We just got to bleed it now. I ended up needing to cut the brake line itself because this end was, as usual, stripped, and everything on this car fights me. But we got it off, and this is our culprit right here, right at that fitting. So now we just got to bleed the brakes. Hopefully I only have to bleed this one corner, and then we can start playing with the fun car. All right. Other than the brake line seizing, that went really smooth, and I only bled this corner. Thankfully, I didn't lose enough fluid to where it sent air throughout the entire system. So brakes still feel great. I'll be test driving it tonight or tomorrow when this one goes down. But that is fixed. So now we can start playing with the real toy. And where I want to start with is my old man. He knows pretty much everything there is to know about these Hondas, to the point where back in the day he had a house called the Honda House, and that was where I grew up. But anyways, I was bullshitting with him and talking about needing an IAC valve and all this and the other, and the one thing that he brought up was making sure that the IAC valve and the TPS sensor aren't crisscrossed, since it's the same plug and they're like right there with each other. It doesn't feel like this one just doesn't have enough to reach up there, so I don't think that's the case actually. I don't think that's exactly possible. Okay, well I think we've just debunked that one ourselves. Alright, so approximately 5 minutes of research has led me to not wanting to look anything up. So I just swapped those plugs just for temporary testing purposes, and we're just gonna see if anything changes. I honestly don't really think it will, but hey, who knows? It might surprise us. Oh yeah, no. It's not supposed to do that. I had like no throttle response, so. All right, those are in the right location. Beep, beep. Whatever, you can stay in there. Look at how proud he is. Then found himself a little hiding spot. No! You don't need touch screwdrivers. Thank you. Okay, have fun. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, so I have two options of what I can do. I have a pick apart run tomorrow, and I'm gonna grab a new IAC valve when I go. So until then, I have two options of what I could do. I can either start rolling the fenders, or I could try to get the second O2 sensor installed. I think that's why it's running so rich. And I'm wondering if that might be playing a factor into not wanting to idle, if it's just fuel dumping so much maybe, or something along those lines. So I don't know what I want to do, because that plug is like seized into the exhaust manifold, and I don't know that I really feel like fighting that. Yeah, we'll play with that for a little bit, and then once I get pissed off, we'll go on to rolling the fenders. All right, car's in the air. Grayson's learning how to pick his nose. I kind of want to kill two birds with one stone, and mess with the headers while also messing with rolling the fenders. And I would like to get the driver fender rolled first, because it's already pretty messed up, so it'll be a good trial run. And then especially with me going to pick apart tomorrow, you know, I can get a feel for it, and if I fuck it up, I'll replace it tomorrow, you know. So we like you can see where it's like crinkled up right here, and the headlight doesn't quite line up. So I will eventually be replacing this fender, but for now it'll be a good trial run, and I can get that port down there, spray it with WD-40, or I'm sorry, PB Blaster for a little bit, and let that really soak, and hopefully that'll help me be able to get it knocked loose and replaced. So all right, so I don't quite know how I'm gonna really be able to film this, but I can just explain to you that essentially you want to heat up your whole fender along here. So if you see, look, there's that lip, that's what we're rolling up. So we want to heat everything up, including back here, to not damage the paint and to help the metal move a little bit earlier. As you see, Grayson is being a huge help. And you have your roller right here that goes in. I'm kind of learning as I go too, where you can go and adjust the angle of the dangle. And then, yeah, and then you just apply more and more pressure as you go, and then keep inward pressure as to not pull. You're just looking for a roll, at least in my case. Also, shout out to Andy for letting me use his fender roller. So yeah, I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to film, so it'll probably kind of just be one of those getting this knocked out and giving you guys updates as I go. And then you get to see the end product, the juicy, cool, fun stuff. Also noticed I've been a little tired and dreary, like bleh, in my videos, and my bad. I'm gonna try to get a little bit better and get a little more perky. But right now I am tired. And we're just gonna try to get shit knocked out while we can. What's thing? Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, he's messing with me. All right, so we got the fender roller set up, and turn this bitch up. And we're just gonna evenly go through this whole thing. Evenly distribute heat for a little bit. And then we can start actually rolling. All right, I didn't film it because I was focused, but first roll, I don't know how well you can see it, but it actually went a lot easier than I thought it was going to. So I'm gonna do my second heat run and then hopefully fully tighten it. Notice over here, it was kind of like just bowing the whole fender out, and I was trying to apply pressure as I was everywhere, but it was definitely struggling a bit more. I shouldn't really need to roll it from this point down, but I'd like to get as much as possible. So we'll just see how far I'm able to go. Over here, I'm a little worried because why is my camera being such crappy quality? There we go. I see right here, didn't quite want to roll because of the tab right there. So we'll have to massage that a little bit extra too. All right. Pass number 2. We're actually looking pretty good for the majority up until you get to right about there. It's where the fender starts flexing a lot. It makes it kind of difficult. Now, I don't know. So right here is where it stops. So I'd kind of like to bring it down to like here. So I might try and get this little lip. But other than that, it's all come together pretty well. And right here, I need to get a little bit more from here on. So I'm a man of owning my mistakes, right? And one of those mistakes was I didn't realize that I had the roller up too high and it was hitting this indent right here. Now, thankfully, it hasn't damaged anything. I haven't gone to any sort of crazy extent, except for maybe a little bit right here. It looks like it popped out right there and right there, just a little bit. But it might have already been like that. It might be my fault, regardless. But yeah, I had it up too high, so now we have it down lower, and hopefully that'll make it easier for getting the rest of this fender rolled. And then I'm gonna see if I can't pop this back. I wonder if I can just... That actually helped. Helped right there too. Still not perfect, but better. Alright. So, and it looks like we'll be fine on the entire top of the wheel. The only thing I'm worried about is if you look, this started rolling downwards. So I'm a little worried about this right there. I just stopped where it was because I didn't want to make it worse. And I might have to heat it up and like beat this up and in. But for the time being, I think we'll be okay. So we're gonna move on to the rear, and when we get the car on the ground, we'll be able to see just how bad it is. Okay, so pick apart was not all that successful. However, I went with my boy Devin, and he just so happened to have the exact IX valve that I need. So we're gonna throw this on and see if that fixes our issue with no idling. I am praying that it does. Praying. Probably all I'm gonna do tonight, we're gonna have a nice chill night tonight, and then tomorrow is where we can really lock into this car and try to get it going. Okay, today is the day. We need to lock in and get both of these cars running. Ideally, all three of them, but this is kind of on the back burner until we get these two going. We really need to get the fenders rolled on this, get an idle solution figured out, and get that secondary O2 sensor in. And for that guy, we do need to bleed the entire brake system, which is what I was worried about, but it is what it is. But I want to get this going first. So we need to finish rolling these fenders. And with how low it is in the rear, we actually need to drop the coil over, let the whole knuckle drop, and then we'll use the jack underneath to get it in at the height we want it to. And then we can get this back rolled. So I want to get all four fenders rolled, get the secondary O2 sensor in, and there's a couple other things that I want to check in relation to the idle. But we'll get to that once we get the car back on the ground and is ready to go. One thing to note too, with doing the rears especially, you have this little like weather strip piece that's back here that you need to pull off, and then make sure you clean up behind in here. Make sure you have no dust or debris, because that can get trapped back there and then end up pushing and pulling, and that's gonna make it look like crap. So just make sure you take your time, go through, clean up all of back here, and make sure you have a good surface to work with. And then from there, alternate between your heat, and then just slowly apply pressure. Don't try to fold this whole thing up in one pass. You know, massage everything up there. You want to do a good job and not end up with bacon fenders. Just a little update. We're like 7 passes in. The video doesn't do it justice, but we're getting close. Need to adjust my angle a little bit more on this to get it really pulling in. But you can see where it started to where we're at now. I don't know if the video's doing it justice, but also taking time. No baconing of the fenders. So far, so good. Alrighty, I think this is about where we're gonna call it. If you look, you can see the top is the after and the bottom of the camera right now is the before. The lighting just does not seem to be in my favor. So we've gained quite a lot of space. I could go a little bit more, but I don't want to push the limit if I don't have to, because I could see the fender really starting to kind of pull a little bit while I'm rolling, even with me applying pressure and more heat. So I think we're gonna call it there before I go messing this thing up. So we're gonna test fit this wheel, get the coilover back bolted on, and then we will, I'll probably just jack the wheel up with my jack just to see how much better it's going to be. And if everything clears, which I think it will, we will move on to the next one. All right, let's see how much clearance we've gained. Oh, I think I'm just lifting the whole car. I am in fact just lifting the whole car. So we'll have to see when the car is back on the ground. All right. So it still isn't all the way on the ground, but we definitely will have the clearance up here. I'm a little worried about this spot right here, just like the front. It started kind of bowing down a little bit. Maybe not actually, maybe it just didn't roll at all. So I might come back later and bring this a little bit more down to like here. But realistically, it's about the same height as the bumper itself. So we should be okay. We should be fine. And I'm also getting lower control arm, or rear upper control arms that will that'll allow me to bring the camber in a little bit in the rear if I have to. So it's not the end of the world. So we'll get the front going, and then while the front end is jacked up in the air, I've been spraying PB Blaster on this guy right there. I don't know if you can see that, where the port is on the header for the second O2 sensor, because we need to get that in the car so we can stop running so pig rich. But it is seized in there, and the Allen key slot is seized. So I've been spraying PB Blaster, hoping I can kind of help loosen it up a little bit and hopefully get some channel locks and be able to pry that thing. I don't have high hopes, but we'll see what happens. Guys, the most wild thing happened this morning. So I decided to go on TikTok live for a little bit. Bro, that blew up. I got 122,000 likes on my TikTok live. Oh my gosh, that was insane. That was wild, man. But that was while I was rolling the fenders. I got them all done on the Civic. Everything came out good. Everything's nice and flush. And now I did my rears on TikTok live and for bleeding the brakes on this. So now I'm bleeding my fronts right now because I went to drive it yesterday and it did in fact get air throughout the whole system. So I have to bleed the whole thing. It is what it is. I only have the 2 fronts left, and then I'll be able to test drive this. Hopefully the Evo will be fixed. And then we can jump back into this guy and getting it driving good. Well, I f***ed up pretty bad. I've already got it kind of saved. We were about to leave, so I went to put the wheel under the car for just to be safe. And the pinch weld had failed. I guess it slipped at some point. Where did it go? Right here. My own fault, not paying attention. I guess the jack kicked out at some point and the car fell. So I picked that up pretty good. Thankfully it all looks savable and it looks like just some clips popped out. And there is a bit of a dent right there and a scratch. But thankfully I'd already moved the wheel and the tire literally saved the whole thing from falling all the way to the ground. Just that little bit saved it. So hopefully it's not too bad. Oh, there we go. So look, don't even notice it. Nice. I'll just have to redo some of those clips and those supports so it doesn't pop back out, but thankfully it feels like it locked right back in. So that was the best case scenario of a worst case scenario situation. So let's go get some food and then we'll deal with it when we get back. Okay, now that I've eaten and I feel significantly better, I messed up. It's on me. It happens. Thankfully, that was the best of a worst case scenario. And I'm very thankful that Grayson wasn't here. And that I wasn't under the car when it happened. But I made a simple mistake. I think what happened was when I was originally jacking the car up, I had to drop the car and then go back up. And I thought the jack was in the same place, but evidently not. And you could see where it like slipped out from the pinch weld and then it just rode all the way up. So 100% my fault. This was the one time that I didn't put jack stands under the car or triple check me going up. That's why it's very important to always double check and always do extra support. So it's definitely a little bit more of a wake-up call. This is the one time that I didn't properly support everything. Now, as you see, the side skirt is kind of pumped out and it kind of buckled right there a little bit. So we're gonna lock this back into place. And we need to get this locked back into place and get a new little clip for in here. And same with that back side. And from there, we should be okay. Thankfully, it doesn't look too damaged and it's all very easily fixable. So like I said, not an ideal situation, but in the event of failure, this was the best outcome. Oh, and I also had messed up too. I bled all the brakes, completely forgetting that with the Brembos, you have a front and a rear bleeder. So now I have to go back through the whole car and re-bleed the whole system again, which is irritating, but you know, what are you gonna do? Ain't nothing left to do but to do it. Oh, why is there so much fluid? What the fuck? All right, that's, oh, it might be PB Blaster. Yeah, that should be all it is. Yeah. Yep, okay. Whew. That scared me. I've been spraying from outside the car, over spraying this guy with PB Blaster. Here you can see the inside is rusted and it is very seized and it's not gonna be fun. So I wanna try to get that out and get an O2 sensor in here to help with the everything. Dude, look at how easy that worked out. I just threw some channel locks on that thing. After letting it soak on some PB Blaster for like 2 days, got some channel locks on it, got a good grip, boom, right out. So now we can take our O2 sensor, extend some wires, and we can have a secondary O2 sensor back in the car. Nice! And just like that, we have the primary and secondary O2 sensors installed, and I didn't even have to extend any wires. It was long enough to where I could run it through the backside, coming up with a through, and the plugs reached right there. So we are good there. I'm leaving the battery unplugged for a couple minutes to let the ECU reset, and I'm hoping with the new IAC valve, the secondary O2 sensor, and I'm about to check the FITV, I think is how the way that goes. I'm about to check that too while I'm waiting, and hopefully between adjusting all of that, we might be able to get somewhere with being able to idle this car. Hopefully. And I also learned upon looking up last night that this is not a Y8 manifold, this is actually a Z6 manifold. So that's pretty neat to know. And it seems like a pretty common swap. So hopefully we can get something going here. And if we can get it idling before the end of the day, I want to move the car over to the grass patch over there and actually degrease and get rid of all that gunk back there. So if there is still a leak somewhere, which there probably is, it's a Honda, it's what they do, we can get all of that cleaned up and be able to identify and find where the leaks currently are. All right, So I can confirm that all of that did approximately a whole lot of nothing. All right, so it's idling, not quite properly because I'm using the throttle cable for it. But all that smoke that you're seeing is the PV blaster off of the exhaust. And then a little bit up here from the heat wrap. It still sounds like there's a slight miss and we're still burning some fuel. So I'm wondering if now at this point, if it's just excess carbon buildup and the car needs to be driven. So I think we're gonna put the car down and go drive it around the neighborhood for a couple minutes, see how bad the rubbing and everything is on the freshly rolled fenders, and just see how it does. The car feels a lot better. It feels significantly smoother. It's slow, but it feels really healthy. It smells like it's still running really quick. Still no rubbing. Go ahead and turn right here.
Okay.
Great success. See, listen to that thing. That thing was sounding rough. This is the part where you stop recording. Alright, well, the brakes already feel a million times better. I'll give my lady the cellular. Windshield's musty. Naturally, we gotta do a test drive. Oh yeah, much better. Civic's clutch releases so low and this one releases so high, it's really throwing me off. Brake check. Alright, cool. We got brakes again. Nice! So I think it was just that one caliper. I didn't have to bleed all. Wow. Oh, that was a mistake. Oh no. Oh no. Mistakes have been made. I did not think this through. I can't see anything. That was the only one like that. Inner caliper, because of me forgetting to do both sides, that thing was nothing but air. So, but nothing else. I didn't have air out of any other of the four corners. So I think all the air did stay in that one corner. But it is good that we bled the whole system. It should be, take this, boom. Now do what you gotta do. Let me know when it's good.
I think that's good.
Okay. She's finally going to drive the Evo.
I'm nervous.
Now you got it.
I don't even feel like I remember. I don't feel like I remember. I don't know how to talk right now.
Perfect. See, you did just fine.
I don't remember.
Clutch in. There you go. Good. Hey, for not driving a stick in like 2-3 years, that's amazing. Natural, just like when she used to have her RSX, an absolute natural at it. I think I still have the clip of you doing a pull in that car that I'm gonna have to show. as I stop recording, she does a takeoff perfectly on a hill, does a little bit of a pull, first through third, absolutely immaculate, rev matches perfectly. My goodness. Watch out for the family.
Okay.
With the doggo.
Can I take off in the
Yeah, no, keep it in second. Keep it in second. You're good. Nice work. All right, what an absolutely amazing and successful day. We got the Civic fixed for the most part, still needs some little hiccups fixed. We got the Evo fixed, and that one drove it for the first time, which is huge. Everything feels good. Everything works. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more content with the Evo, the Civic, and the 240. And until then, I will see you guys next time. Take care.